Cek narasumber, cek narasumber, cek moderator.
Rising public demand for internet and mobile phone service in Indonesia, coupled with the government's liberalization of its foreign direct investment rules, has created an encouraging environment for phone tower construction in the nation. As the fourth nation with the largest population in the world, with the highest demand for internet access compared with other Southeast Asian nations, Indonesia has become a huge potential for telecommunications industry. In 2021, Indonesia is estimated to have a coverage of one tower for 2,700 population. Compared to Malaysia, one tower for 900 population, and Thailand, one tower for 1,300 population. Since Indonesia is still increasing the development of cellular connectivity in proportion to the population, the need for telecommunication towers is very large. So are the opportunities for telecommunication tower providers, especially as the country is more fully deploying 4G capabilities and is starting to migrate to 5G. Daya Mitra Telekomunikasi or Mitratel is the largest telecommunications tower company in Indonesia, which is also a subsidiary of Telkom Indonesia. Mitratel is a telecommunications tower company that is not only the largest in Indonesia, but is also classified as independent. Mitratel has been in business for 13 years, providing telecommunications infrastructure and managing more than 28,000 towers. As one of the largest telecommunication infrastructure providers in Indonesia, Mitratel continues to support operators in expanding their service areas through the construction of telecommunication towers to the rural area. Our services include, but are not limited to, tower leasing, project solution, managed service, digital service, fiber optic services. On the other, Mitratel, as a listed company whose shares are partially owned by the public, will always make the best decisions for all stakeholders, so that it does not only prioritize the interests of the main shareholders. What's more, history shows that tower valuations have increased with every transaction. At Mitratel, we make sure everything is done right to support your company's broadband connectivity needs. Mitratel, potential everywhere.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Indonesia Pavilion at Expo 2020 Dubai. Ladies and gentlemen, our program for this afternoon, Business Talk, held by Telkom Indonesia and Mitratel, with the topic is Introducing MTEL, the largest digital infrastructure company in Indonesia. We are live from Expo 2020 Dubai at Indonesia Pavilion, and this business talk also live on Instagram and YouTube Telkom Indonesia, and Instagram and YouTube Mitratel. It is the great honor for me to welcome everybody here to join us, and we are going to have great speakers to share knowledge and news, also experience and expertise. Our speaker this afternoon is the Chief Investment Officer Mitratel, Mr. Hendra Purnama. To start, we would like to welcome our moderator today. Ladies and gentlemen, big applause for Mrs. Christy Kusumaatmaja, the Vice President Investor Relations of Mitratel. Mrs. Christy Kusumaatmaja, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you so much, MC. That was a very lovely introduction. Hi, everybody. I would like to welcome you all to Indonesia Pavilion at Dubai Expo 2020. I will be introducing PT Daya Mitra Telekomunikasi Tbk, or Mitratel. I have here with me today, as has been announced, Mr. Hendra Purnama, the CIO of the company. I will just go straight to the discussion, ya, Pak, since we have such a very limited time. Before we go into the Q&A, however, I do have a few key statistics that are very unique to the Indonesian market. As you know, Indonesia is the world's largest island country and the 14th largest country by area, which is 1.9 million square kilometers and over 17,000 islands. Population-wise, Indonesia have more than 277 million people. We are the world's 4th most populous country, and Java is the world's most populous island, is home to more than half of the country population. On the digital landscape, out of the 277 million people, Indonesia have 204.7 million internet user, 370 million mobile connection to the internet, and 191.4 million active social media user. Last year alone, Indonesia added 13 million cellular mobile connection, 2.1 million internet user, and 21 million social media user. That's probably a pretty high number regionally and internationally. But the highlight of them all is actually there are 94.1% of users accessing the internet through mobile phones. So such spectacular numbers on the digital savviness of Indonesian and also the population that is based on high reliance of the mobile network for data. with such huge demand from the market, Pak Hendra, certainly this needs to be supported with a very strong infrastructure. And as a digital infrastructure company, obviously, we are engaging in the telecommunication sector. This provides us with such a huge opportunity for growth, right, Pak? So my first question will be perhaps, could you give us an introduction, Pak, on the business nature of Mitratel and how it is positioned at the market today?
Okay, thank you. So Mitratel is one of the largest tower operator in Indonesia, which means that we more like an infrastructure company for the telco digital industry. Without the tower, there's no way that the mobile phone can operate normally. So that's actually the important part of the tower business in Indonesia, especially when we are going to for Industry 4.0, where data and also telecommunication become important. That's why Mitratel is actually there. We're not only the largest, but we also the widest. Basically, we cover all over, almost all Indonesia. So that's becoming a very important to support the communication in Indonesia.
Okay, thank you, Pak. So based on your observation, obviously, we have gone through a lot of changes in terms of the mobile landscape. In terms of the telecommunication infrastructure, how has that changed over the years?
Okay, in the past, most of the mobile operator only invest and focus in Java Island.
Because that's where the population are.
Because that's where half of the Indonesian population, and also some of them is focused only in the big city in other island. But yet, the communication, information has to be spread equally all over Indonesia. So Mitratel, from the early days, continue to focus to cover the whole Indonesia. Okay, then if you see now, I think it was since 2018, 2017, that most MNO or mobile operator realized that there's another potential huge market, not only in Java, but other island. So when they are try to invest and explore to starting coverage in other island, we Mitratel is in the good position to actually help them to do a co-location with them to increase the coverage outside Java.
So 2017, 2018, that was probably when 4G started, ya, Pak?
Correct.
I see. Okay, okay. So where do you observe the tendency for MNOs to start expanding in ex-Java?
Okay, so now we are entering into 5G, and then 5G is going to be another transformation for the tower. Not only we are more passive in terms of managing an asset, but also active asset. And 5G is also give another opportunity, not only for Java, but also outside Java Island, or we call it ex-Java. So we believe that start from 2023 or 2024, then the whole Indonesia need to be covered by 5G. And then for the 5G, the difference is the coverage area is kind of like smaller. That's why more tower is needed, not only in Java Island, but also all over Indonesia.
Okay. What about current market, which is still mainly dominated by 4G? What do you think is the infrastructure landscape here?
Okay, so in 4G, basically, we already covered most of the population. Okay, but yet the 4G now is still, if like I mentioned that in the past, mainly in the Java Island. Now I can say that we are the most prepared, or we are already covered the whole Indonesia for the 4G compared to the other tower operator.
So in terms of 5G infrastructure, what are we doing? What have we been preparing?
Okay, we do have coverage for 5G in several locations in Indonesia. Together, we work together with the MNO. In this case, Telkomsel is one of them. Okay, such as in the PON and also in the Mandalika, we also cover with 5G. So this is going to be a new technology that can give an additional benefit that the 4G cannot give. One of it is the low latency and also higher bandwidth. Okay, this one will be the trend in the future, especially in the big city area, where, as you mentioned, that 94% of Indonesia basically access internet using mobile phone.
Okay, I see. What is the tower ecosystem probably? Because I understand that for 5G, there are new technology, like you mentioned earlier, that's edge computing, that will help with the low latency and the faster speed.
Okay, so with the 5G, the tower operator need to be transformed. They not only become like the managing tower, they need also to be transformed to become the digital infraco. In this case, our ecosystem to prepare for that, not only tower, but we also preparing fiber optic. We also preparing power to tower, especially to the area that is off grid. We are offering edge computing. That can be very benefit, and it's actually only been provide if 5G already implement. And also we are starting to manage not only passive equipment, but also active equipment. Okay.
I see. Okay. Well, before I go into the 5G equipment, what about fiberization? It's also one of the main focus of the current MNOs because with fiberization, they can offer better customer experience. How that provide opportunities for Mitratel?
Okay, yes. Fiber is something that is very important. That's why we work together, especially with Telkom, where we can use backbone and Telkom infrastructure to actually connect all of the tower to fiber optic. In 4G, the comparison between microwave and fiber optic, the user experience will be a lot different. When we do a FICON, when we do a download data or YouTube or maybe Netflix, then when you are using a tower that you are using a microwave, then sometimes you feel the latency, sometimes you take a while for the buffer. But then if you use cable optic, fiber optic, then the buffer timing will be a lot slower or a lot smaller. Okay. Then that's actually the user experience will be a lot better. In this case, the MNO will also get the benefit because the user will be a lot happier compared that without the fiber optic.
And normally the tendency, if when we have faster speed, I will browse more.
Yes.
I will even use more content and more data. That's correct, Pa. Since we added 21 million social media user, I understand that nowadays there are more and more people that are going live on Instagram, live on YouTube, and that is definitely one of the driver that put growth in traffic data in Indonesia quite significant, which is above 40%, right, Pa?
Yes, that's correct. And with the higher bandwidth, actually you can explore more. In the old days when we do Facebook and we do
that's not too old days, but that's still
okay.
quite it's still quite recent.
but actually you see the transformation from the we use a lot text transform into a picture, then now more like video like TikTok, etc.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
That's true.
So that's actually require a lot of bandwidth. Okay, now with 5G and with the fiber optic, that's the only way to go in the future. Then without fiber optic, 5G will not be possible.
Right. So what is Mitratel plan for a fiber rollout this year?
This year alone, we are targeting 6,000 kilometer. That's for the fiber optic. But on top of that, we actually have quite a big of capex that we can use from the IPO. IPO itself is 1.3 billion US dollar or 18.8 trillion rupiah. That's quite a lot of amount of money that we can use to improve our fiber optic all over Indonesia.
Okay. So aside from fiber optics, obviously 18.8 trillion is such a huge sum. What kind of expansion that you are currently looking at as well?
Okay, we're going to use the money, half of it for acquisition. We're going to acquire more tower, also the ecosystem that support the tower business. We're also going to build more tower. We are targeting for the next 4 years, we're going to build about 3,000 tower, and we're also going to add a new co-location. Co-location is just adding a new client, but yes, we do strengthening for some tower. Some tower already designed to cater more than one client or two client, But then some tower is actually only designed to cater only one tenant. So in this case, then we need to do a strengthening.
Oh, okay. For monetary or monetization wise, obviously having more than one tenant are more benefiting, right?
Yes, correct.
What are the differences between one tenancy, two tenancy, and then maybe?
Okay, when you maintain the tower, basically either we have 0 tenant or we have 1, 2, or 3. Basically, we need to maintain the tower, right? So if we have 1 tenant and then we have 2 tenants, in terms of the cost is the same, but in terms of the revenue is double. That's why we need to add the tenancy ratio to make our business is actually grow. And also in terms of the ROIC itself, if you see in Indonesia, is basically one of the highest globally. For 1 tenant is 11%, and then for 2 tenant can be as high as 25%.
Okay, that's actually pretty high. Remembering that China and India ROIC for 1 tenant is at low single digit, right, Pak?
That's correct. Even in the US, it also for 1 tenant relatively in the low single digit. So that's why I mentioned that Indonesia is one of the most attractive tower business globally.
So additional tower, additional fiberization, are that another initiative that Mitratel is doing to prepare themselves for 5G as well?
Yes, that's correct. That's one, as I mentioned, is very important to basically to support 5G. And then as I mentioned, without 5G, without fiber optic, 5G will not work. But then it's also to make the other ecosystem working, for example, the edge computing. So edge computing need to be connected to fiber optic and then connected to database. So all of this ecosystem has to be built before the end user can start using the benefit of the edge computing.
So that sounds like a lot of work and sounds like it needs a lot of money. What's the capex, Pak? What's the capex plan?
Okay, for this year, we are targeting 9.9 trillion rupiah. That's basically to acquire about 3,000 tower, and the remaining is to build about 750 tower. And in terms of co-location, we are targeting about 3,000 to 4,000 co-location. On top of that, we also, as I mentioned, going to build about 6,000 kilometers for fiber optic.
Okay, that's for this year, but what about 2023?
More or less going to be the same number, okay? Because our target for next year is relatively the same. Our plan is actually for 4 years, and then every year, more or less the same.
Okay, so before I go into the next question, actually I have a question from the chat box here. They are asking, how are we going to finance the capex?
For the capex, if you remember, we did an IPO in 22nd of November, and the amount is quite significant, 1.3 billion US dollar. So we can use that use of proceed for all of the capex. And if turn out that the acquisition or the organic growth is much higher, we can use our leverage or bank loan. Our bank loan now is still net debt to Ebitda below 1 time. So we are the lowest in the industry.
That's very fortunate, but that we do the IPO back in November. So now we're loaded with cash. Okay. So next question actually for me is actually going into the target of tenancy ratio. You mentioned that more tenants mean more profitable, right? Because the cost of maintaining the tower is similar. So what is the tenancy ratio that we are aiming for this year?
Okay, this year we're aiming 1.6. Okay, but then if we see from the analysts, from the research, independent research, saying that by 2031, the average tenancy ratio will be 1.8. Why 1.8? Because for some location, you need a pool, especially in the city area. For the pool tower, sometimes it only can add either 1 tenant or 2 tenants. Okay, so that pool will be, in terms of number, will be significant because the coverage is quite small. Then, but this is also very important because this is an ideal instrument or infrastructure for 5G.
Because for urban areas, there are also not so much land to build macro towers, right?
That's correct. And then the what you call it, the PEMDA or local government definitely will not allow you to build a huge tower in the
Next to
middle
a
of the town.
residential area.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that. I hope that answered the audience question. And speaking of, probably this is also one of the hot issue in the market. We know that there are merger and consolidation happening in the MNOs. So how that will impact the overall growth of the company, or is that actually something that can push the growth even further?
Okay. Consolidation, this is not the first time happened in the MNO or in the mobile operator. It's actually happened several times in the past, and in every consolidation, the new entity usually have a stronger balance sheet and more aggressive. So we kind of like support this consolidation because for the industry itself, it's actually better. We already have a scenario for the consolidation that happened currently, and the impact itself for the short term is not that significant, but the impact for long term is quite huge because the new entity will definitely want to improve their coverage. They become more aggressive, capex wise, balance sheet they are stronger. So we actually an ideal partner for them because we do have a tower all over Indonesia for them to use.
Okay, that's also to utilize the newly acquired spectrum as well, right, Pak?
That's correct.
Because it's better to use them rather than having them just idle.
Yes.
Okay, right. So what about the consolidation in the tower sector then?
Okay, we believe that this year and next year is the time when consolidations happen. As I mentioned, tower has been transforming into a digital infraco, but the small tower operator usually don't have enough capex to do that. So that's a potential transaction that we can work together with them, how we can do a consolidation with them. So we believe that this 1 or 2 years is a consolidation period, same as the mobile operator. Then after the consolidation happen, the industry itself will become more stable.
I see, that's right. Do you see any feasibility to expand regionally?
Okay, as I mentioned, Indonesia has a better return.
The highest ROI.
Highest ROI globally, not only in the regional, but it's globally. So definitely our focus will be still in Indonesia. Okay. For other countries, we will take a look. Maybe if there's a good opportunity in the future, then we can consider. But there's a lot of things to be assessed before we decided to go overseas. Either is a microeconomy in that country, political, security, etc. Not only business itself. So definitely for the next 1-2 years, definitely Indonesia will be our main focus. But then we do not close our eyes and ears if there's any good opportunity outside Indonesia.
Right. So probably I would like to touch a little bit on other potentials aside from MNOs in the tower sector. Do we have any visibility on that market at the moment, Pak?
Maybe can you elaborate the question a bit?
Because mainly now the tenants for the towers are still reliant on mobile network operator.
Okay.
But will it be possible once 5G kick in, the speed catch up, then IoT can start also utilizing the digital infrastructure?
Okay. So in terms of the client for the tower, yes, currently we do have non-MNO client. A non-mobile operator client, it can be like, for example, the sensor for tsunami, sensor for smoke detector in Sumatra and Kalimantan, CCTV is another thing. Also sensor for weather channel. That's actually another possibility that you can use from the tower. And then if the 5G and the connection is already available, so many things that you can use with the same tower.
So the capex, how much actually the capex to build one tower?
To build one tower is about 70,000. That's for the macro tower, the tower that actually more than 50 meters.
Okay. So the monopoles is obviously a lot cheaper.
It's a lot cheaper.
All right. So from that point of view, means that there are actually more monetization coming in once 5G kicks in, we can all start with the IoT, which actually already started now, yeah.
Yes.
Even though maybe it's not as it's not going to be as comprehensive as when 5G already start being more mass produced.
Yes. That's correct. And you also see there's a lot of startup with the new creative idea. So you never know. They can use the tower for the other benefit or other IoT.
Right. So I also noticed that you have another initiative in the tower ecosystem, which is power to tower. Maybe could you elaborate a little bit more on that, Pak?
Okay. At the current time, we have about more than 1,000 tower that is located off grid. For that, 615, we already use solar panel as the source of energy. The remaining, the rest, we are using diesel engine, okay, or genset. Okay. We believe that the solar panel is more efficient, okay, and not only we can save a lot. I think last year alone we saved what 85 billion rupiah just from reducing the diesel fuel. Okay. So in the future, we trying to be more focused. And in this case, we not only can have to do our own, but we also can collaborate with the third party. Okay. In this case, they have the benefit of experience as a renewable energy company, helping us to generate the power. And then we're going to use that power to power the equipment belong to our tenant.
Okay. So that's actually going into sustainability as well, yeah, Pak?
That's correct.
Is there any other initiative on sustainability aside from the solar panel?
Well, at the current time, because we basically is not a carbon producing company, right, for the tower itself. So then that's one of the initiative. And then the other thing is the battery, maybe one of the thing. In the old days, our battery only lasts about 1 year, and then after that we cannot be recycled. But some of the battery we replace it with lithium. Lithium can last longer, and also we can be recycled.
Ah, okay, I see. All right. Actually, I think that is all the question I have. And I don't think there are any more questions, Pak, from the audience, because we have been explaining everything so comprehensively. Will it be okay? Oh, we have one question. Okay. From YouTube, right. So this is another use of the data.
Okay. Okay.
Can I show it here? Or
I think they are preparing the question, yeah?
I think this is quite a heavy one, but that's why it took quite some time.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I think from YouTube, can be from anywhere, yeah, not only from can be in Indonesia or from any other country.
And bearing in mind that this is a global event, but it's very likely it's from the international audience. I heard we have over 1 million viewers, yeah? So the question is, what is the strategy to keep the Ebitda or the profitability stable?
Okay.
Or actually, probably the expectation is to expand the profitability, right, Pak?
If you are talking about Ebitda, I guess co-location will be the key. Okay, as I mentioned before, that number of in terms of the cost, if you remember last year, we are able to reduce the cost 16%, right? That's a significant number. But then for us to actually go forward for the sustainable growth, adding a co-location is actually increase the revenue, but then in terms of the cost is remain the same. Okay, so then for our strategy to keep the EBITDA stable is actually to maintain the number of or to improve the co-location that will maintain the EBITDA, and also we continue to look for another alternative. Alternative is an option how we can operate more effective, more efficient. So last year is a good progress. We start 16% reducing the cost. Hopefully this year by using we develop our own program.
The CRM product.
Yeah,
Programs.
yeah, what we call it OneFlux. Okay, so hopefully with that program we can also with that information is actually combined together from the front, which is marketing, from the operation, and also from the accounting, and we have one big data. So using that, we hopefully can there's another initiative to improve our workflow and then to improve our efficiency.
Right, got it, Pak. So just to complete the picture, Pak, what is the target profitability or target EBITDA in maybe medium or long term? Do we have any?
So our target within at 2025, our target is about 83%
overall, right, Pak?
Overall.
Because at the moment it's at 75.5%.
Yes.
Because we still have other businesses also that we're trying to optimize, right?
Correct, that's correct. So
Correct.
the other business is the one that has a low EBITDA margin. That's something we need to be focused on. We need to improve. Our EBITDA margin for the tower is already in a high number, currently at 83%. So we're going to maintain that. And then the next thing that we need to do is the EBITDA for the other business.
Okay, understood. Okay, so last question will be, what is the dividend policy of the company, Pak? That's related to investor return, right, Pak?
Yes. So we, as a listed company, during the IPO, we mentioned that our maximum number for dividend policy ratio is 70%. Okay, and we're going to propose it in our EGM. Is actually the maximum number, which is 70, and our EGM is planning to be held on the 22nd of April.
Okay. Is that ratio going to be sustainable going forward, or are there actually room to improve that payout ratio?
That's possible. As I mentioned that within the next 1 to 2 year, we are going to focus on the consolidation. So our growth is actually at 11% or 10 to 11%. This is double, by the way, from the industry. Okay, so we're going to focus, and then we're going to reserve a little bit money to for our growth. Okay, but after this consolidation period is over, then there's a possibility that we can increase in terms of the dividend payout ratio.
Okay, great. Okay, that's the last question. Thank you so much, Pak Hendra, for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for the insightful information as well. For more information, everyone, you can head to the company website at www.mitratel.co.id, or you can send an email to investor.relations@mitratel.co.id. Okay, that's I think that's all the time we have for today. Hopefully, everyone have a good time, and we're looking forward to see you guys physically after everything, and enjoy Dubai Expo 2020.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Christy, for such smooth and interesting discussion. Also, thank you so much for Hendra for such important insight. Big applause for our moderator today and our great speaker today from Mitratel. Ladies and gentlemen, this is end of business talk. Thank you to the audience that have participated actively. Thank you for all honorable speaker, moderator, and all distinguished guests. On behalf of Telkom Indonesia, we would like to thank you for your participation. This is also the end of Telkom Indonesia session at Pavilion Indonesia at Expo 2020 Dubai. For more details about Indonesia Pavilion, please kindly check our website expo2020indonesia.id. My name is Ira Menicini. Thank you very much. Keep following the COVID-19 protocol. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Rising public demand for internet and mobile phone service in Indonesia, coupled with the government's liberalization of its foreign direct investment rules, has created an encouraging environment for phone tower construction in the nation. As the fourth nation with the largest population in the world, with the highest demand for internet access compared with other Southeast Asian nations, Indonesia has become a huge potential for telecommunications industry. In 2021, Indonesia is estimated to have a coverage of one tower for 2,700 population. Compared to Malaysia, one tower for 900 population, and Thailand, one tower for 1,300 population. Since Indonesia is still increasing the development of cellular connectivity in proportion to the population, the need for telecommunication towers is very large. So are the opportunities for telecommunication tower providers, especially as the country is more fully deploying 4G capabilities and is starting to migrate to 5G. Daya Mitra Telekomunikasi or Mitratel is the largest telecommunications tower company in Indonesia, which is also a subsidiary of Telkom Indonesia. Mitratel is a telecommunications tower company that is not only the largest in Indonesia, but is also classified as independent. Mitratel has been in business for 13 years, providing telecommunications infrastructure and managing more than 28,000 towers. As one of the largest telecommunication infrastructure providers in Indonesia, Mitratel continues to support operators in expanding their service areas through the construction of telecommunication towers to the rural area. Our services include, but are not limited to, tower leasing, project solution, managed service, digital service, fiber optic services. On the other, Mitratel, as a listed company whose shares are partially owned by the public, will always make the best decisions for all stakeholders, so that it does not only prioritize the interests of the main shareholders. What's more, history shows that tower valuations have increased with every transaction. At Mitratel, we make sure everything is done right to support your company's broadband connectivity needs. Mitratel, potential everywhere.
Recording stopped.